come on here real quick and just talk to you about something I find interesting. And I wanted to tell you how not to start consulting. I read on LinkedIn, I was curious. Okay. So it all started with curiosity. So the curiosity for me is oh, hey, there's my little ocean background. How do people find out how to start consulting and what are they searching for, right? So, like, everything is what people are searching for on Google. So, if you search for how to become a nurse consultant on Google, what would pop up, right? What would it tell you to do? So, I went on Google and I searched for how to become a nurse consultant. And what I found was appalling to me. So I found this Indeed career guide that talks about how to become a nurse consultant in 6 steps. And it literally says, like, the first step is to like get 3 different degrees. So get your undergraduate degree, then get your associates, get your bachelor's, and then the last step is to get your master's. So 3 degrees in the process of becoming a consultant just to start, right? And degrees are great. I have a master's. It's certainly helpful. It has helped me very much, but it has not enabled me to be a consultant, and you don't need one. So it says, what is a consultant? It's a professional who helps a company solve specific problems so it can remain profitable and competitive. Love that. Totally agree. For instance, a consultant might help a company streamline operations and become more efficient. That's me. They might also help reduce costs and increase revenue by recommending changes in operations or workflow. Also me. Consultants work in various sectors and have a various specialty area or aspect of business, from strategy to profitability. And some work for firms while other are private consultants. There's also employee consultants. This is not the kind of consulting I'm talking about. So I get a lot of messages asking me, can I have a consulting job? I'm messaging you about a consulting job. Can you hire me? And the answer to that is no. I don't have any job opportunities. I am not, at this point, I have no employees. I only work with independent contractors, and that is people who work for themselves. You can still work for someone else and work for yourself. You can be an employee and an independent contractor as long as you haven't signed a non-compete that you won't have your own business. So there's a lot of different ways to do consulting. I don't recommend employment consulting for several reasons. There's a cap on what you're going to make. You have no control over your salary. And also it puts you in the position that you could be in a conflict of interest just sharing your expertise, because they're going to fire you if you tell them they're doing it wrong and not making the changes you recommend. So then it says, complete an internship for free to work with a senior consultant who can teach you how to solve problems, use productivity tools, and communicate effectively. You can do that for yourself. You have all the tools you need. If you need a coach, that's totally different than an internship. Don't work for people for free. Still expect value in return for your hours. I will say, for me, and there's probably people who don't agree with this, but for me, if I'm doing something for the first time, I'm super upfront about that, and I'll give them a discount. So the doctor I work with on Maui I do his urgent care efficiency and processes and compliance, and I do his concierge contracts, and I also subcontract with his concierge contracts. I've never done any of that. So I didn't come out swinging with this huge rate. Like, if you're going to hire me, we talked through it and we agreed on a rate that he felt like was fair for someone who has never done this before. And he didn't care at all that I had never done it before. It's not about your resume. And that's what I was trying to talk about the other day on that live video, is your resume is not where it's at for consulting. It doesn't have the bearings, because you're not trying to get another job. You're not trying to convince someone to hire you as a consultant, right? And you're not trying to become an employee again. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being an employee consultant. I'm not putting that down. It's a great job. You'll probably make more money doing that than, even in a leadership role. But you're still an employee and there's still a lot of limits on you. So then it says start applying. After your internship is completed, start applying for consultancy jobs. There are many employment opportunities for qualified candidates. I'm just reading this off of Indeed. Mid-level consultants must show credibility and certification as business advisors and need over 10 years of consulting experience to get a job. So hold on, number 3. Let me go back. So in number 2, you said complete an internship. Training may last from 1 month to 6 months. During the first few weeks, you'll be paired with a senior associate. You might later work on a real project with a manager who offers real on-the-job training, which you already have and have had for years. Number 3, start applying. Typically, mid-senior level consultants must show commercial credibility, and managers or associates often need over 10 years of consulting experience. So this is putting consulting in a hierarchy of employment like entry-level, mid-level manager, and senior manager, which there is that hierarchy, right? Especially if you're working with a firm, they have senior consultants who run projects. If you're an independent consultant and you have your own business, you skip all those things and you don't need 10 years of experience to get to the top. You work for yourself. You decide how things run. You decide who you work with. You decide what projects you do. You decide if you travel. You decide how much you charge. Number 4 is get certified. It's very important for aspiring consultants to get certifications in areas and fields that they want to consult on. Wrong. It's not very important. It's very important that you prove you can show results to fixing a problem in that area. Okay. It's really nice to have a little certification card to flash. And sometimes, like for hospice, I have had potential clients who say we're only looking for someone certified in ACHC or CHAP, right? Those are 2 different accreditation agencies, and they want a consultant qualified in one or the other. So if you're going to specialize in one area and one area only, getting a certification might make a lot of sense for you, and I would encourage that. However, for the normal person, they're not asking for your resume unless it's an afterthought to support your portfolio with them. I have been asked for my resume to support them bringing me on in a consulting role. But you don't need certifications. It also says it would be helpful for you to get a certified management consultant, CMC certification from the Institute of Management Consultants. This is a competency-based certification that shows expertise in consulting. So while this might be really good advice for someone who is not a nurse, who wants to start consulting, it really doesn't fit what I'm talking about us doing. And this is definitely not the path that I would advise you to take. The only step in this 6-step career advice, finding a job, how to become a nurse consultant, is it says build your professional network. That's the only thing that I would suggest you do, that I would suggest you start doing right now. Collaborate with other people, network, ask them what they're doing, ask them how they're doing it, tell them your ideas, connect with people, start on LinkedIn, connect with organizations that you would like to work with. And then it talks about the different types of consultants. It talks about consultant duties and responsibilities. They're pretty much applicable to anything: reviewing plans, documents, auditing, interviewing staff, creating plans and timelines, including schedules, goals, and indicators for performance, designing solutions, meeting with clients, understanding their issues and challenges, helping clients implement lasting solutions to their problems. That's great. monitoring the effectiveness of the plans, policies, procedures, or systems, training and coaching the company's team. So coaching and consulting are two different things. Coaching encourages the person to find the solution within themselves. It's an awakening. Coaching is helping someone see the solution. And consulting is recommending an action plan to find a solution. I have done this. Here's my process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the steps that I did in order to do XYZ that you need to do. So it's very different, coaching and consulting. Now there's pieces that align from both, of course, right? But it's a different approach, and it's very important to remember that. And then consultant skills. Sure, organization, discipline, critical thinking, communication, and a positive attitude. Agreed. I agree. The other thing is salary, consultant salary. The average salary of a consultant or nurse consultant is $79,513 per year. Oh, that is so precious. Yeah, that's not what we're going for here, guys. If you want to be a consultant and you want to make money and not work Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., time to leave employment consulting, time to leave employment altogether. So consultants generate revenue of up to millions of dollars. Now, what they pay themselves or choose to pay themselves varies greatly. So last year, closing the year, I made $250,000, and I decided to pay myself a portion of that and leave aside a portion. I set aside a portion for taxes because you are taxed on your consulting income, and then a portion for business operations. I have software I want to use. I have things that cost money. I've done a ton of coaching and education. So those are things that I pay for out of my budget, right? So my goal for next year is at least 500K. So my goal will be to not pay myself 500K. I'd like to pay myself half of that, but I'd like to reinvest the other half in my business. So maybe a salaried consultant gets paid 80,000 a year, maybe even a little more, maybe 90 to 100. But so do floor nurses, so do DONs, directors of nursing, right? That's not a competitive rate for consulting. You can start at $150 an hour and scale up to $350. That's what I did. That's what many other consultants that I know do. So if you add up that range at 24 to 32 hours a week, you're already past 250, right? You're past 200,000. So, you're generally paying yourself more than half of that. I follow profit first, and you adjust your own percentages based on what comes in and based on your operating expenses. My operating expenses are very, very low. They're 15%. So if you allocate 15% to operating expenses and 15% to tax, that's 30%, and you keep 70. So 70% of 250 is pretty good. So you can titrate those amounts any way you want, based on your needs, based on your business's needs. But I try to keep expenses very, very low. So I hope that was helpful in how not to become a consultant. And if you want to become a consultant, I can help you in several different ways with that. I do have one spot for one-on-one coaching. I have several spots left for the Impact and Income Consulting Program, and that goes up to its next level of pricing after September 30th. And so does my one-on-one coaching. So I would recommend, if you're looking for the most cost-effective way to do that, this would be a good time to start. If you are self-starting, great. I totally support you doing that. I needed help, so I paid for a lot of coaching. But if you're self-starting, I would look at developing what your service is and who you serve, and then developing your process, what your process is and how you provide your solutions, and then packaging them in a way that your client can understand how you're going to meet their needs, and then connecting with your potential clients and offering them your services. That's the whole strategy right there. Just gave it to you. So instead of that Indeed article that said, get a degree, get a degree, get a degree, get a certification, then apply for some very not exciting salaried level jobs until you have worked for 10 years to become a senior, that sounds really crappy to me. And I hope you're not doing that because it's the long way around for sure. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be hard. So keep it super simple. I hope that was helpful. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Is that how you thought you had to become a consultant? Was that helpful? I'd love to hear from you. And if you're interested in coaching or the Impact and Income program, you can comment here or you can message me and I'll give you a special offer for those programs to help you get started. Okay.